Hey y'all. Sorry I didn't do a response yesterday or a vlog yesterday. Um, it was fairly defeating. I'll go into that in a little bit, but I just wanted to apologize. I know that some of you are really looking forward to these, so um, you know, again, my bad. Today was a little bit more motivating. I went to Hiroshima by myself today, and I'm just gonna kind of go on a whim here and kind of like wing it because I have a lot on my heart, I have a lot on my mind, and I didn't really have the time. I actually just got in, so I didn't really have the time to kind of set up these main points that I keep saying I want to. So I apologize. I promise they're gonna get a little bit more straightforward and more structured. But for now, I've just been the past couple of days have just been like a whirlwind of emotions. The first full day I was here, I saw everybody and got my family back to me, and it was just a really moving, powerful experience. And then yesterday, I tried going to Osaka by myself, and I've been there once before with my buddy Ko, and he kind of took me around. He took me to Dotonbori, he took me to Shinsaibashi. We kind of looked around different places. I found Shocker last time, and then I kind of got lost on the way back to Namba, the JR Namba station. But I was only there till probably like 6 or 7 p.m. last time. This time I was there much later, and I got there, well, I was gonna say earlier, but I slept in really late and missed Now's graduation, so that already had kind of like painted the day in a really negative way. But I tried to salvage it as best I could, and so that's why I kind of went to venture on my own in Osaka and see stuff. Go visit some things that I thought I might want to try and find. And my GPS was on the fritz all day. I missed Now's graduation. I got lost a bunch, and not in a good way. I mean, I'm safe, but it was just really frustrating. And so for me, it was like the high and the low. Like if you took the first day and that was like mountaintop peak type feelings, then yesterday was like rock bottom. Just in those 2 days, it went from such drastic extremes, and there were moments where I started to kind of self doubt. I started to wonder if I really was cut out to be here. I wondered if this is really what I want. Mind you, this is all in my head. It's not, my heart says otherwise. But in those moments, in those circumstances or situations, they tend to challenge a person. They challenge an individual. They make you ask questions of yourself. They make you re-examine your passions and desires, your wants, your needs. And for me, having that really high high and really low low in the span of 2 days was definitely eye opening. They definitely, both experiences, both days, really melded in a way a lot of how I feel about how I'm going to move forward and progress with my plan to be here. Now, I did not get fully deterred. It was these moments where I just kind of had to like purge and put pen to paper, get my thoughts out, my feelings out, and talk to some people and tell them that I was frustrated and that I had these doubts and feelings. But I mean, part of this vlog is not only to spark dialogue, spark discussion, but it's to show you inside my head to some extent, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what motivates me, what keeps me motivated after slipping up like moments like this. So and then today I decided to go to Hiroshima by myself. Now, it wasn't because nobody wanted to go. I know they all wanted to go, but, everybody has adult lives, everybody has responsibilities, and I needed to do this. I mean, it's been a year now. I wanted to go back since, probably a little while after we left, honestly. I mean, it really is just a moving place. I know a bunch of my friends, they're teachers of various levels, elementary school, high school, and professors at college. But one of my friends I went to Japan with 3 years ago, and they're a teacher, and I kind of sparked the idea and thought that maybe we could collaborate. And so what I decided to do was I would Skype, call, or videotape some of the stuff that I do, and send them photos and things like that so they could use in their classroom, and kind of educate the kids on Japan, and educate them on different cultures, educate them on some of the history, and just kind of like let them kind of tag along, kind of like what these vlogs are to some extent for everyone. That's a way for you to tag along on my adventure and to be a part of my everyday life while I'm over here. So today I took some footage and photos around Hiroshima, some of the sites. Before I got to the Memorial Peace Park, I had decided that I would kind of like clear my head so that I go in with a clean slate, even though obviously there's a history between me and this place. But the day already had this very heavy tone to it already, knowing where I'm going. So it was a way for me to kind of lighten my mood so that maybe it wouldn't be such a drastic drastic event to have happen again. So I went to a shopping district in Hiroshima. I had some stores, bought some people some gifts to bring back with me if I have to go back. If not, I guess I'll just mail them. But I, kind of took in some sights. And then I made my way there. I made really good time. I ended up leaving about 7 a.m. this morning. Got there about 10 by a Shinkansen. And I wandered around for about an hour and a half or so. And then I went straight to the Peace Park. And I came in from a different entrance this time. I came in through kind of like the back from a shopping district. And I came upon it, and I only realized it was that because I saw the fallen soldier memorial that they have. It's like for people that volunteered service during World War II and during the bombing. And so the moment I saw that, the hairs on my arms and neck stood, and that was when I knew I was there. That's when I knew that for lack of a better term, shit was about to get real. As I went to that memorial, I prayed like I did last time with the group of the four of us that went. I then made my way to the Genbaku Dome. You'll have to apologize if I get a little choked up or I pause, because it's very hard to talk about. It's not only very difficult to deal with and to face in person, but then to kind of have to recollect everything you felt, saw, and continued to after the fact. It's not the easiest thing to put into words, but it's also not the easiest thing to kind of keep having to work through over and over again. But it is one of those cathartic processes that, again, like reveals a lot about yourself. And I think it is a transformative experience for anybody that really does take the time to go and see it for themselves, because I think you leave much more humbled. I think you leave much more, hopefully, optimistic. I can see how people might think it's an extremely pessimistic place to go to because of obviously the scenario that transpired. But when I go, it it is it is emotionally heavy. It's very difficult to deal with. It is very solemn, very sad. But when you think about the city had been pretty much leveled by the atom bomb, you can't help but be amazed and like feel just utter appreciation for the fact that Hiroshima rebuilt itself. You know, the people that were left worked hard to rebuild it to be a place that stands now as this kind of beacon of hope for peace and love and understanding. And for me, I think that is just the most important, most moving thing that could have been done, is to rebuild this place, allow nature to take it back to some extent and make it beautiful again, but for the resiliency of people to rebuild this place after such a destructive thing happened. I mean, that to me, that's really inspiring, and that gives me the hope to keep kind of fighting my good fight, I suppose. So I made my way from the Fallen Soldier Memorial, or the Military Memorial, and I made my way to the Genbaku Dome, and I shot a little bit of footage for my friend's class. I also took some photos, and then I pretty much hung my head the whole way around it, because it's not easy to face. It's not easy to look at. You know, I mean, I think there's a level of guilt and shame that kind of comes with going to a place like this, especially when you kind of like originate from the place that perpetuated it or perpetrated it. So there's still very much is that kind of like American weight guilt that goes into visiting Hiroshima. But I made my way back to the other side of the Genbaku Dome, where I had visited last time, and kind of like had knelt down and touched the ground that was there. And then I sat on the bench that was right across from that place that the four of us that went last year sat. And I took a photo for them and I sent it to them, and I just let them know that they were there with me, even though they couldn't be. And you know, as I sat there, it all just kind of like came rushing out, and you know, it was cathartic to kind of get all that frustration, especially from, you know, Sunday. We get all that frustration and pain and tears and whatnot out, and there's this kind of like positive that comes from seeing other people's reactions to this being similar to mine, that it's not, it is and it isn't this kind of like touristy thing. Like, people go to see it, and that kind of makes it like a tourist, quotations, tourist site, but it's not like a happy-go-lucky place, like you don't go and people are, smiling a ton. It's not Disneyland, but from there I made my way to the everlasting torch, and basically the inscriptions on the signs basically say that the torch will burn until the world is free of nuclear weapons. And it's like an abstract shape of hands holding the flame, and it continues to burn until that happens. And it's inspiring, but it's also saddening, because like that flame shouldn't still be going, like we shouldn't continue to perpetuate creation of weapons that do what they do, or do what they did here in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and and then you look at nuclear power at Fukushima and Chernobyl. I mean, there are clearly alternatives to all this. Peace, non-fossil fuels. Yeah. I mean, that's just personal politics, I guess. But, and then, prior to that, I did go see the Sadako Memorial, and I prayed there and took some photos of the cranes that they keep in the cases that are donated from schools and partners from around the world. And for my friend's class, because I think that she's going to get them involved in that and have them make cranes, which I think would be really cool, My hope for this set of videos for the kids today were, I hope that somehow she can kind of bookend the footage and the pictures and things that I share with them, like to kind of make the message about basically not looking at differences. When I go there, even though, like I said, like there's this feeling of guilt because of I am what I am, but like the ultimate goal is really, we're all human, and it's not about Japan, it's not about America, it's not about woman or man, it's about treating everybody equally and peacefully, and treating everybody with kindness. I think you need to teach kids that, and so hopefully my friend can kind of throw that lesson in there and get these young minds molded to the point that they don't see just difference anymore. They treat each other the same no matter who or what they are. And I think like it's a good lesson to learn from Hiroshima. So I went there, went to the flame, and I went to the actual memorial and prayed there. And I didn't make it back to the museum because I just knew I couldn't do it again. I barely made it through the first time, so I wasn't even going to try this time. So once I was done there, I made my way back toward the station. I kind of stopped off and tried to, cleanse my palate, so to speak, by like looking at pop culture-y pop culture-y things to get my mind off the difficult stuff that I just dealt with. Compounded with the fact that I was alone. And I made my way back to the station, and I tried to book a seat on the Shinkansen, and I had to stand for like an hour. So it reminded me a little bit of last year when I stood for 2.5 hours from Tokyo to Kyoto. It's a little bit similar. Yeah, so I mean, that kind of puts me back here, making this vlog. I mean, I don't even really know anything else to say. The only hope is that, you know, you watch this in its entirety and you just kind of get the message that, like, I went not only to pay my respects again a year on, but that I think the big message that we can learn from this is that we need to kind of like strive for peace and love and understanding, and that no matter who or what you are, you know, we all kind of have a role to play in that.